Okay, going to continue on with consolidating some of our code and improving some of the things. So we've done our register new user and we've done our register user MFA. One last thing I'm going to do is just copy this and go to Claude and say based on the functionality we call off of this route, can you provide a one paragraph overview of this functionality similar to the following. So if we go here, and I'm just so obviously we've gone back and forward in terms of how we're keeping track of some of this functionality, but for the time being just kind of documenting some of the endpoints and just giving an overview. I feel it might be of value. So if we copy and paste this, we can then do a H3 toggle heading H3, I think it is, and we are going to call this. We call it. Do we do it off the controller? Toggle user MFA, yeah. Toggle user MFA. Yep, and then we're just gonna paste this. So it's done that in nice red text. Where's color on this thing? Red. Sweet. So patch handles toggling of multi-factor authentication for authenticated users by updating their MFA settings in the database. The route first validates that the user is authenticated by JWT, then validates that the enable parameter is a strict Boolean value of true or false. When enabling MFA, it generates a secure random secret using crypto and stores it with the user record. When disabling MFA, it removes the secret and sets an MFA enabled to false. The route returns a success response with the updated MFA status for both enabling and disabling operations. So that's a pretty good summary there. And yeah, now we're going to move on. So what we've got in this MFA service is this functionality like generate tokens, which isn't actually used for enabling or disabling MFA. This functionality is used when the user is logging in with MFA. So what we want to do is we want to update our functionality over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move our notes to this temp files thing, and I'm doing that because we're going to update a lot of this functionality and these notes are no longer going to be relevant, or 100% relevant. Where is it? Move that in there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to update some of this functionality. So get rid of that for a sec. Let's go through this logically. So we have got our login routes and we are calling our validation chains login. So we probably want to do what we've done before and make this separate, which I know, again, if you haven't watched my previous videos, not ideal best practice to repeat code. Wherever possible, we want to centralize it, but for the purpose of testing, it's working a lot better doing this way. So what I'm going to do is, just thinking, so login controller, login user with MFA. We're going to I know I'm being a little bit, I'm just thinking because we've also got this internal user where there's login stuff. I'm just trying to think if we want to change any of the naming convention. Login validation. For now, I don't think so. Yeah, I think it'll be all right. So we're going to call this similar to what we've done here. So login user dot validation chains. So login dot validation chains dot JS. And then in this file, what we're going to do is if we come to our controller, sorry, our routes, this functionality, click this over here, we are then going to, we're basically going to take out this functionality. So we need this. We are not using, are we using validate email? We are using validate email. So, but in the register new user functionality, hang on, wrong thing. We don't use that anymore. So let's try and not do it. So const login validation chains equals, and then we'll do login, and then where's our file gone? Let's just copy this, paste this, and then we actually, I just noticed we've got all this comment at the bottom too. Let's get rid of that. And then we've got to export this. So module.exports equals login validation chains. Then what we are going to do is what are we going to do? We're going to bring in our validation error. Email is required. So error types. Let's check that in a second. Think about that in a second. So email is required. This validate email functionality gets called. So if we go here, go to validate email, we're checking is type of string and all of this capability. So it's basically all of the same that sits here. Again, I know there's duplication. Copy. We do want to keep the trim. So we'll just take from custom. Paste. Now, we need to think, are these all going to be relevant for a login functionality? Because actually, if we just go back a second, what do we're just checking the email was required before. So a lot of these validations are going to already occur on register. So someone can't be logging in with something that's already too long, for example. Guess you could have a separate validation for double @ symbol, local part. Again, that's going to fire. That's going to fire on registration. Domain rejects, invalid domain and email address. Maybe you should keep that. Email must be a string. Email is required. I think those are the only ones that are really going to be relevant. So like on our front end, we might fire different things to say, hey, your email must be a string. Like if they've put in random numbers, email is required, and then also invalid domain in email address if someone's putting in something that's not right. So we don't need those requirements there. So then if we go to our login routes, instead of bringing in validation chains, we're just going to bring in our login validation. And if we just look here as well, we still do need to bring in validate requests. So we can do this, and then we are going to bring in const login validation chains equals require login validation chains. Sorry, I was just checking we are recording. And then this is going to go here. Save MFA. So we also then have a separate MFA one, which we will have to get to. So then we call our login controller and login. We don't need the logger. Authenticate user should be in our service, which it is. Get rid of these logs. Save that. So in our in our authenticate user, find the user, populate company, throw not error found, compare the password. If user has MFA enabled, we need to do that. So that's fine. We'll get back to our controller. If MFA is required, we throw this result. If not, we throw this result. So let's go to our functionality here. We can let's just true. Actually, let's just send this as false for that user. something didn't. Server must not be running. Error type must be function. It's not saved. Login routes. Validation chains dot login. We got rid of the validation chains here. We haven't updated all of the functionality to remove that. Okay, so I'm just going to toggle, actually, yeah, MFA would be false for that user. Toggle that. Let's just save that. Then if we go to our login user, so this is the user we've been using, we're going to hit send. Domain is not defined. Domain is not defined. Email. Register a new user. Body. Let's go. Test 58. Company 58. Send. Copy. So just verifying our user. Send. Great. Then if we come back here, copy this, go to login, paste that. We only need email and password. Send that. Domain is not defined. So what's happening here is in our validation chains, let's use chat. Okay, what conditions does this project set for domain names? Okay, why when sending this request would I get this out? Okay. In our register new user validation chains, we have this. We don't need the local parts. So if we log in this user, parts is not defined. Where is parts used though? No. Hang on. No. Hang on. Registration. Parts. Yeah, we need this bit here. So save. Invalid domain in email address. Why would it? Test 58. I'm just thinking, like, is it testing that like at test.com isn't a valid domain? Does it's not even firing? Console log. Okay, let me think about this. I think for the purposes of now, if we just take it out, because we've already validated the email on sign up. This was just to try and give a better validation error on the front end, but we can say emails required, email must be a string. If someone puts in the wrong domain, it's just going to say that they didn't log in. Like, I was just thinking if someone accidentally put in, I don't know, like test without the .com, it would have been helpful, but let's just invalid value. What the hell? This is not failing. Why is that not working now? Email is invalid value. Just going to log into MongoDB and see how that user's email might have been saved into the database directly. Maybe we've got some logic that's done something a little bit funky. So users. Test58 at test.com. Why is that not working? Okay, so didn't like the custom logic. Why do you not like this? It's going to be a simple thing, I'm sure. So trim. We didn't have the return statement. Okay. Oh, that was annoying. So I wonder if we can put in our custom regex check. Anyway, I think that's fine. It has to be a string. We could quickly check it, I guess. See if this works. I'm interested. So body custom cons. Oh no, we would have had to return true before. We would have had to return before. I probably took it out when I accidentally deleted this part. We also need the split. Let's just check this one more time. Okay. And let's just try this. Invalid domain. Awesome. Okay, so that works. We can keep that. All right. So back to what we were doing. So login route, we call our login validation chains. We're still going through validate request, and then we call our login controller. We extract the email and the password off the request.body. We call authenticate user. So that's all fine. If MFA is required, this is what it sent. So do we start writing out our tests? Let's not do that. Let's just go straight into the next piece of functionality. So for this piece of functionality, verify MFA. So verify MFA does our MFA validation chains. We're going to keep that for a second because we're going to more importantly focus on the controller and then the services. We're going to get rid of this logger.info. So we get the user ID and the token off the request.body. I think we did want to change that. We'll come back to that though if I remember. And go to verify MFA and login. So this is still in our login service, which is great. So verify MFA and login. Now it calls our MFA service, verify token. So let's close down some of these windows. If we go to MFA service, pull this over here. This is what we don't want. We don't want to have this verify MFA functionality, verify MFA token in this piece of code. It's not really a service though, so I'm going to call it like a util. So similar to register new user.utils, we're going to have login.utils. I think that's best practice. Again, with the caveat that best practice for making sure that Jest is good at doing tests. So we're going to cut this out. We don't need that. Paste that in here. We are going to need to bring in a few imports. So for simplicity's sake, let's copy and paste everything we've got here. And then just take out what we don't need. So we do need validation error. Probably won't need email service, but we'll leave those other ones for now. We'll clean it up in a minute. So then up here, we need to bring in const login utils dot login utils equals require login utils, and then copy where were we? This is going to be dot just login utils. All right, verify MFA token. I'm going to change this to verify user MFA token, just because we also have an internal user MFA token. I just want to be clear on what we're doing. So here we look for the token. and we return true, and then it comes back here. So if there's invalid token, then once we got the token, turn generate tokens. So generate tokens is this. So verify. Install token. So we're verifying user MFA token. So this is a post request. We got the user ID and token off the body. We pass that to our verify MFA and login. So we verify that their token, stored token, find it. So we find the stored token. And we delete it because it's a one-time use. And then we return generate tokens. Which is logging in our user, setting the auth token, the refresh token, and the token expiration date. Really, this is more of a utility because it's not being called directly from a route or a controller. So if we look here, we're not calling generate token. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to paste this here. Yeah, I didn't like that. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I was looking at that export. All right, so export to generate tokens. So then, this needs to be login utils dot generate token, and then this should really be await, and then we need to return const logged in user equals await return logged in user, which should be this. I think that makes sense. Okay, and then if we look at this functionality, so generate token, token exploration, generate tokens, generate. Might come up with a different name for that. Token, JWT, sign the token, set the expiry, refresh token, token.delete many, create new for you, refresh token. So we set the new token to that. Log.info. Okay. I think that's all making sense. So what we need to do is, when a user logs in with a refresh token, how do we get that generate MFA token? So we're still calling our MFA service here. So if we go here, MFA enabled to false, we get this user's bearer token. We come over to toggle, go headers, set the bearer token, just make sure it's the right one. Body, we're going to set this to true, send, then we're going to come back here to log in, going to hit send. MFA service is not defined. Login controller. Const MFA service equals require Still need that import. Yep. Oh, sorry, it's meant to be in our service file. Login services. Yep. Save that still. Right. Send. This is the email preview. Then copy. Go new. Paste this in. So this has got our token and our user ID, and it needs to be a post request. Send. So yeah, it's expecting it in the body, right? So raw. So it should be user ID and then token. So token. We'll fix this up a little bit later, as in not get it off the URL, and then user ID. Let's try and send that. Okay, so we've got some functionality issues here. So, yeah, because it's not expecting. It's not expecting the user token. It's expecting, like, yeah, the 6-digit character that you pass into the body. That's where it's getting mistaken. So MFA token. Send MFA. So what MFA generate? Why is it? No, that token is different from. Verify user MFA token. Why is it expecting it only to be 6 characters? So let's go to validation chains, MFA. Let's get rid of this for a second. Refresh token doc is not defined. Interesting. So if we go, we've got 2 generate tokens functionalities. That are essentially the same. let's just log in again. Open this, copy. I'm just going to put this here for a sec. So token. Send. Okay, we've still got some functionality errors in that's occurring. Just a bit frustrating, but I think it stems from a lot of what we've done. You know, moving things around, and when we've done the tests and something's failed, it's gone back and forth and added code everywhere. So that's why we're consolidating down. So what we're going to do is we are actually going to just ignore that briefly for a minute, because what I can do is once I've got all of the functionality in one folder, I can feed Claude all of the code and say, hey, something's happening, can we fix it up? So let's go to via this authenticate user again. And we can see that we're still using the MFA service for generate token and the MFA service for send email verification. I want to move those into our utils folder. So we will bring back our login utils. So we've got to bring over generate MFA token. So we're going to bring out and the send MFA email. So we're going to cut and we're going to paste those in here. And then we're going to go save this first, login service. And then these are both going to be login utils, and then that should mean we're still using generate tokens. So generate tokens, where are we? Still using that login utils. Let's get rid of that. All right. So if user MFA is enabled, we use our login utils generate MFA token and send email, MFA email, that's fine. We return generate tokens and we return the user. Right. Verify MFA and login. So login utils, verify user MFA. Verify user MFA token, yep. Generate tokens, refresh token. So if we go routes, post refresh token. So this is calling validation chains, we'll come back to that, login refresh token. And this is calling our login service refresh token. And this is calling no other service at this point in time. And then we've got our logout, which calls this functionality, get rid of the logs. And it's calling no other token, no other service at this point in time. Okay, so that's all consolidated. We do need to fix up our validation chains. So we are going to bring up this, bring this over here, and we're going to go to our login validation chains on this side, and we're going to add in the, let's uncopy this for a second, sorry, uncomment that. We're going to bring this over here. Sorry, it's got to go here. Cut this out while we're here. Save that. So login routes. So it's MFA. So this becomes login validation chains. All right. Then our refresh token, same thing. Cut login validation chains. Paste. Save. And then let's just quickly, while we're here, we'll do so many bloody files. Close some of these down. Login routes. So refresh token, do next, we've done, sorry, and we've got log out. So let's cut that, put that here, there. And then routes again, we don't have password reset and reset password. So yeah, they're still used in some other functionality. And we need to then just update this. So login validation chains goes here and here. Save. and that should all now work. We've still got one other thing unsaved, our utils, save. Mongoose is not defined. Okay, so we've got to fix it up. Alrighty, that's all of our files sorted. I do need to take a brief break. Yeah, it's time to finish up my break, and I will come back to this. So what we're going to do is we will now, next up what we'll do is we'll provide all of these files to Claude, and we'll say, hey, our login functionality works, except when there's a requirement for MFA. It's saying that, you know, I think there's some inconsistencies with how the token's being generated and then what token is expected back, because obviously we're expecting 6 characters and it's generating a much larger token. We'll finalize that. Then we'll check our refresh token functionality, check our logout functionality, and then I think that's everything. Everything to do with our logging in existing user functionality, and then we can hopefully in a much faster fashion do our password reset and our profile, managing user profile functionality. And then once we've done that, we can move back to our fixing up our internal user functionality. And then once we've done that, we've got everything nice and consolidated. So I'll catch you in the next video. Appreciate everyone who's watching. Comment down below if you've got any questions or feedback, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay, going to continue on with our project where we left off. Bit of a mouthful. Where we left off was that we'd updated some of our login files here, but we do have this issue where like the token that's being generated is different to what's expected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to Claude, and I am going to just refresh this, make sure this is the right window. Yep. I'm going to delete our login user functionality. So where's login? Login controller, login routes, login service. Yep, so we'll delete those. And then I will components, login, service, utils, validation chains. And then what we're going to say is, please review the following files. Login.validation. Utils, login.service, login.routes, login.controller. I believe we have some inconsistencies with our, bring this over here, functionality off of the functionality associated with this route. When we controller, when we call our login we call the function login in our controller, it in turn calls our login service dot authenticate user, which is generating an MFA token and emailing the result. However, when this happens, it generates a token that I need to pass in the request body like this, but we then get an error like this. Can you please review all of the code across these files to ensure it works as it should and advise on the changes you make? Please also be aware of our custom error handling approach and error types. Also remember we are using Express.js v5 and its async await error handling capabilities rather than using try catch blocks. Alright, see how it goes with that. Missing the mongoose import and validation chains. That's why. Actually, the validation chain was still got that error. Anyway, let's have a look here. So, mongoose. Actually, oh no. Okay, so. Let's look at this missing mongoose MFA. So in our login validation chains, MFA body user. Okay, so we'll update these. All right. In our login utils. Crypto.randomize on two-string hags. What's changed there? That hasn't changed. Okay, verify. And this is a new export. We're not. Hang on. Verify. No definition found. We must have deleted that functionality somehow. So no wonder it worked. It wasn't working. Utils. So verify MFA token. No, there it is. Generate. Just to show you what I'm looking at. So in our verify login.utils, verify user MFA token. No, it's there. Okay, it is there. So stored token, token.find, user token type MFA expires that. Yep, if no stored token, throw validation error, await token.delete, return true, all the same. Send MFA email. Login controller. Just adding in this message. Verify. Login service. So authenticate user. What the hell? It didn't actually change. Added a missing mongoose import. Oh, okay. It updated the validation for that. Made. Okay, let's try. So login user, send. I'm just going to put this here, and we're going to get the token. I'm going to hit send. Okay, I get this error. Refresh token doc is not defined. Login utils. Ah. Yeah. That's probably my mistake. Refresh token doc. Ah, I did change that. Hurry up. I remember when I did that now. Accidentally. Let's hit send. Invalid or expire. Oh my god. Alright, login user. Send. Take. Copy. Paste it there for a second. Token. Send. Okay, MFA is now working. Fantastic. So, great, it's working. What I think is odd though is that maybe we can try and quickly fix this without using AI. Where are we? So, with our controller, we should get this off of request.params instead. And then if we change this to a get request, I think that should work. So if we go here, log in, click this, copy, and come over here. Let's just do send, validation failed. Use ID is required. Okay, so login controller, use ID, token, calls login service. I'm sure I've done that right. Great, it's working. I do want to update it so it gets the user ID and token from the URL params rather than having to pass them into the request body. Yeah, because it's okay. I think this should just work if we change this. So I forgot about that. So instead of body, we want query, and we want not for login, for MFA, query and query, and then we already updated that. And then we change that to a get. We already had the query params in there. Okay, so this should work. Save, send. Scroll down. Query is not defined in the validation chains. Query. Now send. Might say it's expired. Invalid or expired. Login user again. Send. click this, copy link address, send. Why is that not working now? Alright, let's go back, just make sure we haven't missed anything. So, validation chains. We're bringing in query. Got MFA. Yep, that's all fine. Use ID. And token. Let's do a console.log. Come on. Why is it it's coming up as undefined? Interesting. Verify. MFA. My bad. I had params, not query. Save. Alright, I'll try again. So, log in. Click this. Copy. Come back to this GET request. Send. Okay, fantastic. So we're going to save this file, save as, under login user, login user with MFA complete login for save. Close that. This one we don't need anymore, so don't save. All right. Now we're going to go back to, let's close down some of these. Great, that works. Can you please now review the code for refresh tokens and logout and advise if there are any other inconsistencies or issues present? Let's just get Claude to check us on this. Okay. Okay, cool. So in our login service, we are going to our refresh token. Find one, refresh token, refresh, that's all the same. No, yep, that's the same. Yep, that's the same. Generate tokens. Okay, so it's using the utility function. So if we bring this over here, bring that over there. So if we go to login utils, generate token. Yeah, this functionality is generate tokens. Use ID with a, yep. Token doc. Okay, so we're going to replace all of this functionality from here down to here. with that, and then we're going to return tokens. And then log out if deleted, not found error. Saying this should be a validation error. Get rid of these logs. Okay, cool. So then in our controller, login controller, refresh token after request body. Might change that. Save. Let's change this. And then validation chains. All right, refresh token. And log out. And then routes. So we've got route.post refresh token. Yep. We're just ensuring that the user is authenticated there, which we are. Login utils. So now utils, it is saying to generate tokens. That gets improved. All right. Great. So, what I'm going to do is copy, bring this back over here, and say, please provide a 1-paragraph description of what the following I can't remember how we worded it now. Yeah. So based off of routes, copy off of these routes, can you provide, send that, and then we're going to update this functionality here. So then we can, let's just add this quickly to our doc here. So this is, I'm going to add it here, H2. We're going to go login user, toggle H3. And we're going to start with our login user. This red for consistency. Red. Handles user authentication by validating the provided email and password against the database. If valid and MFA is enabled, it generates a secure MFA token, stores it in the database, sends an email with a verification link. If MFA is not enabled, it directly generates JWT tokens, access and refresh for immediate authentication. Very good. So toggle H3. We are going to do verify MFA token. Copy this, paste this, processes MFA verification by validating the user ID and token provided as URL parameters against a stored MFA token in the database. Upon successful verification, it generates new JWT token to access and refresh for authentication, deletes a used MFA token, and returns the user's authentication data. This endpoint is typically accessed via the verification link sent to the user's email. Fantastic. And then refresh token. So we're going to call this toggle h3 refresh token. Paste. All right, red. So manages token renewal by validating the provided refresh token against the database. If the token is valid and not expired, it generates new JWT tokens, access and refresh while maintaining the user's authentication state, deletes the old refresh token, and returns the new authentication data. And then finally, a logout user. Obviously going to be fairly straightforward to understand. Toggle logout user. Okay. Handles user logout by requiring authentication and refresh. It verifies user identity and deletes the associated refresh token from the database, effectively invalidating the user session and preventing the refresh token from being used again. Fantastic. One thing I do want to check, so if we look at our refresh token, it's still a post request, so I want to ask so refresh token, should it be post request? I guess it is, because you need to is it best didn't think so. Alright, so login utils, we need to update all this now. Oh dear. So return. Okay, so generate tokens. We're still going to return the refresh token, that's fine. In the login controller, change to your else if all right, verify. Cool, and then refresh token. Unauthorized error, do we bring that in? Do that. So result. Save and then log out. Change all of this. Do a bit more tidy up in a minute. So we need to bring cookie parser. Let's just add that as an npmi cookie. Is cookie 20? Yeah, cookie pass Right, where are we? So routes, cookie parser, save, router.use cookie parser. Remove validation chains for the refresh token. Okay, so validation, refresh and log out. And then in our routes again, we've got router.post, router.get, router.post, remove the validation chains. And also log out. All right. And then update that, so in cause, just in our app.js file. Okay, fantastic. Great, thanks. What is best practice then for our other tokens? I don't want to centralize. Yeah, that's fine. Where do we... use crypto? We already used that. Login. Okay. Register new user. I don't want to use a centralized token manager. Right, currently login.utils, where we've got jwt.sign, put that in two places, token exploration. Nothing's changed there. Okay. Right. Okay, so in our user schema, email. Actually, I don't think that should be in user schema. Shouldn't it be? Should this be? Okay. Gotcha. yeah, my mistake. So we add this to our fields. Why didn't it like that? Fields, save. In our login utility, token sign, we are adding this field. Save that. JWT secret. Token expiration. We're now not using these. Currently in our code, we have this, which calls this, which is our standard token thing. Forces short expiration. I don't know why we're changing that. Anyway, register new user utilities. In generate new user email verification token, we return token. Should hash token before storage. Token. It's quite a significant change. So we'll check all that functionality works. Verify user MFA token. Where's that functionality? Verify. Generate MFA token. Generate MFA token. Generate reset token, password reset services. Alrighty, and in auth middleware, authenticate, so auth headers, yep. Token. Okay. Alrighty. That should be a little bit better. So let's just run through some of this functionality just to check that everything's working again. So let's register a new user. Go 59, hit send. Bcrypt is not defined. So that's in here. Big CR. Yeah. Send. Email work. That's interesting. I think it created that user. How'd that work? Right. Then we got to verify. copy this link, come over here, verify the user, send, invalid verification token. When I okay, yeah. So this check token status needs to be updated. Okay. Send verification. Register user service and verify new user email. That all remains the same. Okay. Go back here. This might have expired. Email verified successfully. No, great. So we did test 60. So if we go to log in, actually, if we go to let's register a new user. Go 61. Send. Gonna get this user ID. Copy. I'm gonna resend the verification email. Send. Click this. Copy. Verify. Send. This is gonna fail now. So why is that? Why is that? Oh, my bad. No. Send. Yeah, we did that. We got it. And then copy. So what's different? Verify token. Send. When I resend the verification. Okay, so register new user utils. I bet our tests are gonna bugger up now too. And then send verification. Far out. Hang on. Undo that. Remove duplicate function. Send verification email. Is this? Save. And then in registered new user service, resend. Save. Alright, let's go through this again. Register a new user. Actually, let's try and resend. I think because it would have gotten deleted. Send. Blog specified. Service controller. Alright. Register new user. Send. Oh, it's in the utils. Far out. Utils. Logger. Save that. Try again. That's weird. Dad? Gotta be back. I'll be back. Send that. Alright. User registered successfully. Let's resend the verification email. We've buggered this up. We've really buggered this up. We've walked ourselves into a situation where it's starting to write code that it's not aware of all of our code. Email service is not defined. What did we previously have? So I think we just get rid of that. Alright. Send. Okay, fantastic. Small error. Copy. Send. Email verified. Thank you very much. Now, let's log in this user. So it's 64. Send. Generate tokens. It's meant to come from. Okay, so log in. Login utils. So user. Sorry, I'm not talking much. It's a bit frustrating. Where's generate tokens? Ah, it's in, yeah, of course. Okay. Just log in. Okay, true. MFA is set to false. So now we are going to toggle MFA, and for that we need to update our headers. So if we go back to our logged in user, we get the token. Here. Send. What the hell? Auth.js. Decoded ID. We don't have user imported. Alright. So send. Okay, so now MFA is enabled. Now we need to go to login again. Log in with this user. Oh my gosh. Login.utils. Const decrypt equals require. Save. Login again. Get this. Copy. Send. Okay, users login. I think we're gonna stop there, and I can wrap this as a video in terms of like fixing up some of our tokens. So git add git commit -m refactoring tokens. Yeah. Now it's always risky doing this, but let's run our tests for register new user. And yeah, hope for the best. Okay, something failed. Alright, so because of that, we've got some other issues occurring now. So where's okay. So we're just going to change. Just expecting a different message now. Okay, and there's some other issues there with how our token one last message. Okay, now that we have changed some of that functionality, our jest tests fail. Please update the relevant tests only to accommodate the new functionality changes. Okay, yeah, it's to do with our hashed tokens. So we do need to bring in bcrypt. Const bcrypt. Right, and then in our register new user, describe token generation. Describe token generation. Describe new user. So this describe block, token generation. Just getting rid of these. For verification provider. I'm just going to scroll down. Comment out that. Run that. What doesn't it like? Probably that last one. For failed. Where is it getting? Verification token. Oh my god, it's going down a rabbit hole again. It's not being consistent with its responses. I think this might be a little bit of a fix though for this one. 3 found. All right, I'm going to wrap it there. Come back to these tests. I still feel like we've taken half a step back in the last like half hour or so. How long have we been going for? Not too long, but yeah, I feel like Claude's going off topic and we're using up messages. So what I want to do when we come back is we do need to finish up a few bits and pieces. We need to finish up sorting out this login functionality and consolidating it to the way I want it to be. And then what we need to do is we need to write our tests for the login functionality. And then we've also got our manage user MFA tests that we did before, and I'm really worried actually that they're probably going to be broken down too, which is fantastic. Manage user MFA / manage user MFA.test.js. So I think with both those and the manage user ones, if they do fail, we'll go back to the approach that we did before, where we'll feed the files all to, there we go, they'll work. So we'll feed all of the files back to Claude for the register user. We'll tell it that we've changed some of the token functionality and we're getting a few tests that fail, and try and get that just to like start from scratch, fix those 3 or 4 that were broken. So that's what we need to do. And then the MFA ones all work. The login ones, they need changing, and then we'll get that functionality finalized, which would be fantastic. And then, yeah, we can work through some of these other ones hopefully a little bit quicker now that we are on a bit of a roll, I hope. Yeah, we're getting this finalized. All right, catch you in the next one.